Hi, beautiful human. I'm Zach. That's Stanley. Welcome to the studio for the first time ever in physical form. The Wallows.
Hello.
I did this the last time.
You did.
Okay, 2 fucking notes. Okay, Wallows, number 1.
Yeah.
I messed it up the last time. I was saying the Wallows, and that's wrong. It's just Wallows, as like one wallows, right? Like, is it used as like I can wallow about something? What
Kinda. If however you like to interpret it works for us.
is that how it's meant to be used?
Well,
How do you like? What is it? A thing? Is it a feeling? What is? Can you define it for me?
Yeah, so it's
Whatever you want it to be.
it's actually a place in Hawaii. It's a skate spot called Wallows that was like from the video game Tony Hawk's Underground, and it's a real place in Hawaii. But I that's where I discovered the name.
God, you guys are such millennials. Yes.
I know.
Yeah.
And then I just think Wallows. I think it's cool to find a band name that like it turns into just what it is. Like like it's just Wallows is just our band. We don't really want it to necessarily mean anything other than that, if that makes sense.
I love that it comes from a Tony Hawk video game.
Yeah.
My second thing is, when we first met Dylan in person, the way you remembered me was the interview that was really fucking long.
that's what I said.
Yes. And I was like, it's true. We talk for probably too long.
I
But
love
yes,
getting into it.
It's
good.
It's vital. And
Yeah.
you guys have created something that's really special, and the music's great, and you've grown consistently. Like, the fan base has really done something over the last few years. But what I've been able to enjoy this album, it's really something. Can we like talk about it?
Yeah, I think we can.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Let's talk about it.
What does perfection genuinely mean to you? Like, really, what does it mean to be perfect?
Cool.
Cole, take it away.
And is
can
there
talk to
beauty
it.
in perfection?
I haven't said anything. Yeah, I mean, gosh, perfection.
Yeah.
I don't think it's like a real thing, right? Like, I don't think anything can be absolutely perfect outside of, say, like
Except for you.
except for me, outside of like math and like there's like a theoretical version of it, but
Totally.
I don't think anything is ever actually perfect, right?
Yeah, for me, I feel like perfectionism in art that we make, like as long as we feel like we're getting better and we feel like we're getting more impressed by what we make and it's getting cooler, to me, that's as perfect as it can get. Like, as long as we're liking whatever we've currently made more than what we made before, that's perfect.
Well, and that is true to the way you guys recorded and captured this entire album, right? Like, a lot of this, at least from my understanding, like, it feels though it was done in almost like one take. But there's perfection to imperfection, right? Like, there's
Absolutely.
like explain the process behind this compared to everything else you put out, because it's called Model, which a model is perfect, or at least what society deems as perfect, or whoever's casting that person deems as perfect. What did it really take to capture every song? Because did you do it in one take? Was it done in this? How was it done? Like, were you just set the scene?
Well, and we always have this issue of like when there's 3 of us to answer.
Like who wants to?
See whose mouth is open first. It wasn't all done in one take. But like the way it started was every song started with Cole on drums and I just played bass and Braeden was doing guitar. And so like the main bass of like drums, bass, like the basis of like the drums, bass, and guitar that's how every song started. So it started in a very just like kind of raw, very naturally performed kind of way. And the approach we wanted to take to this album, though, like after that, we would track things on top of it, like extra guitars, synths, and whatever vocals. But we wanted to keep it to the bare minimum of tracks. Like I feel like we've gone balls to the wall with tracks before, like kitchen sink kind of mode. But for this, I think we wanted it to all sound more precise and every part to be very deliberate. And we felt like the mixes of these songs would sound a lot bigger and better the less there was going on, because I think the best mixes are the ones that have the least amount of things going on in music, like the best songs, like the best sounding ones. So we really try to do that as much as possible in this. So so not one take, but very much so like not overthought and just only tracking what we thought was really necessary and would actually add to the song to keep it as, make it sound as much of like a band playing as possible, really.
Who's doing what in the room? Outside of, I know what you're playing, but are you writing as you go? Like, what are you coming in with ideas?
Yeah, usually we have some demos that we have, and we'll have, I don't know, like 20 ideas or something for this album. We had like 20 demos that we did at Cole's apartment. But we do write in the room as well. Like usually writing in the room happens when I feel like there's an idea that hasn't like reached its full potential yet. Like there's a song called You on the album, and we had maybe like 80% of it, but that 80% was 100% of it when we went, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like we had 100% of the song, but in my mind I was like, it feels like 80%. So then sometimes going to the studio like sparks this extra gear, and you kind of go off, and then that's where like the second verse kind of changes. If people that hear the song will hear there's like a different guitar part, different arrangement, and that was just in the studio because I felt like it wasn't finished, even though it was, but it wasn't. So yeah.
Yeah, and it's funny. Like I wanted to make a deliberate decision to come, because normally like we'll go into the studio and we'll not have all the lyrics finished yet. We'll kind of like finish them. I write best under pressure, and that's like kind of what makes the most honest thoughts come out of me when I'm writing. Like when I finish lyrics right before I sing in the vocal booth. But before this one, I was like, no, I want to go into the studio with every word written. I don't want to deal with that this time. I want to do it differently. And then no, I finished all the lyrics in the studio again. So
Yep.
So we were really writing in real time. Like so I'd sort of be like, I know I got to sing this song next. Cole and Braeden, you guys track some stuff on this song. I'm gonna go write, and I'm gonna come listen to what you guys tracked, and then I'll be ready to sing this song. So it was very like, because we were only in the studio really for like 2 months solid. Like that was it, and we recorded like 27 different recordings around there, and we've never ever recorded that much before. So it was a lot going on in the studio at all times. Like, you know, not spend too much time on a song, set it down, move on to the next one, set it down, move on, and then revisit. And it helped us just sort of keep a very not overthought, very like natural approach to the songs. But so yeah, there was a lot of writing and stuff in real time, and I think it was kind of good we overloaded ourselves to not overthink things, but also is a blessing and a curse, I feel, because having all of that material, I think, was hard for other people to wrap their heads around, like what people on our team and things like that, because we're sending them all these unfinished things, and it's hard for them to see the vision, and there's so much they're downloading in their brain. But for us, we knew the big picture and everything in the process. But yeah, we kind of, I feel like we just like steered off the road a bit with the question. But,
This is the point.
but it also does go back to the model thing, because like that's sort of what helped influence this title for the record, because it's like, you know, a model is like, yeah, like you said, a perfect representation of something, right? And we felt this sort of pressure at times recording, because we knew what this album could end up being in the end when it's all finished. But like when you have so much stuff that you're recording, it's hard for other people to see that, I feel. And like it's like, yeah, this perfect model of this album by this perfect model of this band and this, you know, whatever, that's sort of a loose interpretation of the title for us. It's sort of ironic.
When does that title present itself? And like, does it come halfway through? Do you know what you're going to name this thing and where you want to go with the songs you're crafting before you even enter the studio?
I mean, I think unique to this project, like in terms of the title, the title happened, like you brought that to our attention like way later, right? Like we were pretty much done. We were like in the mixing phase of the record when we were like, wait, what do we call the album basically? And we had ideas, but like I think the entire time we were all like, these ideas don't, like they're just not strong. Like they just felt sort of weak. They felt old, kind of tired to us. And yeah, you say the word model in the album.
Well, that's the thing is like our other 2 album titles have been taken from a lyric in the album somewhere. And because we had so many songs and we knew we were going to trim it down, we didn't know necessarily what songs were 100% going to be on the album yet. So we were kind of waiting to have more of an idea of what the album was before choosing a title. And so once we started to know more, that's when it presented itself. But that's why it took a little bit longer this time, because we were like, we'll figure it out near the end of completion, I guess.
So what story did you end up telling with this album as a whole? Like if I was to listen to the whole thing, which I haven't been able to, what story am I walking away with? Or is each song really its standalone thing?
It's tough to say.
It's a tough one to say. I don't know. I do think each song is a standalone thing for the most part, but Oh God, yeah.
I don't know if there's a story it tells. I think, I don't know if there's like a story it tells or like an answer you're gonna walk away with narratively or thematically per se, like completely. But I do think that what you might walk away with, for me, and what I hope you walk away with, is that we sound tighter and more confident and better than ever and more enjoyable than ever. And I think like it's our most listenable album that we made so far. Like it's easy to put on, I think, and kind of flies by.
I agree. By the way, I haven't listened to the whole thing, but I was listening to the singles a bunch. It really is so easy to just cruise to. It's great. Yeah.
Great.
The music's amazing. And the musician, by the way, the band hangs, and each song hangs itself and really relies mostly on your musicianship in addition to your vocals, right? Like, and you guys sound great. It sounds great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
It's
really good.
really funny that you say that, because when we were talking about the process and stuff, I was like thinking in my head, like, I feel like we are the kinds of people and musicians who are really passionate about music. Like we all love like being fans of music and like listen to a lot of it. And I feel like we like understand like why bands are cool and like we understand what we like and like we know a lot of music, right? But then when it comes to actually like playing instruments sort of well, I feel like that's where like I think we're good enough. Like obviously we recorded the record and we played everything and like it's all us, but like there's so many instances where like we're trying to do a piano and we're taking like 30 takes to get it right, or like we're splitting the piano chords into two separate things and then fusing them because I can't play the parts right, you know? It's just funny how like we're just like we're like hacking it together in a way.
I love something you said recently. You're like, my dumb ass is playing Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, no,
Hilarious.
yeah, I was
that's
like,
how I feel.
yeah, I was playing this. I play this like in this tennis league with like true randos in LA. I just go and like compete against people.
Of course.
And then like, you know, naturally you start talking about what you do. And then someone was like, yeah, like you playing a band, like where are you guys playing in LA? And I was like, well, it's like, we're playing at the Forum. He's like, yeah. He's like, are you serious? Like, you mean like the Forum? Like, I'm like, yeah, it's like really weird. Like,
That's so funny,
it's
man.
like, well, yeah, it's like, yeah, it's imagining us in this position that we're in. We're very lucky because we're not, I don't know how to say this. We're not exactly like average. We're kind of average Joes in a way. I don't know. It's just funny that.
Yeah, but there's something to say about the fact that you've been playing together for a very long time, right? So whether you're great musicians stand alone, it doesn't matter. Together, you guys do
Cole's
something
being very
great
humble.
and
He's
special.
an amazing musician.
Yeah.
It's true.
Thank you.
Cole is a fantastic. He can make a lot of
Virtuoso.
himself.
We made it happen somehow. Is the
Right.
We just keep making it happen somehow. We're just figuring it out as we go. It's working. You know,
yeah.
working out.
Hello, beautiful human. Every year, millions of gamers experience IGSS, inadequate gaming setup syndrome. Luckily, a cure has been found. You have to go beyond with the Vibrasonic mattress by Beyond Sleep. This thing has 6 built-in subwoofers, USB ports for charging, LED lights so you never stub your toe. It gives you an acoustic massage when you want it, plus adjustable degrees of comfort. This right here is the best way to game ever. Cure your IGSS today at BeyondSleepTech.com. How do you start records though? Like, does it start with something in life? Does it start with you sitting down, like pushing yourself to just imagine something? But they
AI
seem
is
personal.
a big help. I'm
Really?
joking.
Recently, it's AI.
Really? Model Wallows. No, yeah, how does that work? So like, I mean, oh God, I'm just kidding. It's usually just, oh my goodness, no kidding. It's about having ideas, and after you have these ideas, you put them together in a room and you make a song.
Wow.
And you make an album. No, it is about God.
It's about God.
It all, you know, God is our driving force.
Sorry.
It's you don't know what starts the records? It's God.
I mean, you know, some people make that case though. I'm God, universe, whatever you want to call it.
Oh, sure.
It's not our answer. It's not our answer. I'd
No,
say
wait,
it's,
yeah, like
it honestly is like a
I
place
haven't
and
had coffee
time.
today, by the way. I don't know if anyone's noticed. I really haven't.
Do you want one?
Oh, I had a little bit in the green room. The nice people out there made me a coffee, and it was carbonated.
What?
Does that happen ever to you guys?
It was. I tried it.
I was like,
Wait, no,
am
I
I
think-
like losing?
No, I think
some
they
sort
did it
of
wrong.
my reality.
What the wait, it was carbonated?
It was carbonated coffee.
Was it? Did you ask for a nitro?
No,
or
I
something?
just said, "Do you guys have cold brew like with oat milk?"
Oh,
Like,
it's
yeah.
a nitro thing.
Is it
No,
a
I
nitro
have a
thing?
theory. I have a different theory. I think.
He
I
has a
think.
theory.
I think he asked for a cold brew. They might not have cold brew, so they made him a nice Americano, but they accidentally put sparkling water in it. Is my theory.
Oh, wow.
It was
my
bubbling.
senses were
It was
just
bubbling.
definitely
Because nitro is just frothy.
Right.
It's not supposed to be.
Yeah, I don't
right.
know.
Anyway.
Oh, that's not good.
No, it's all good.
They're like trained baristas out there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of money being spent on
Oh
that.
no, it's great. It was fantastic.
Back to God.
No, yeah, the albums. Yeah, just always being inspired. Oh God. Dylan, you go.
I feel like it really is sort of. I feel like it does come down to our decision of when we're ready to do an album, right?
that
Like,
makes sense. That's what I wanted to say. That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah, it's. I feel like it's sort of. That's a really good question because I
It
look
is. It's
back and I'm
kinda
like,
like,
why
wait.
do we? How and why do we decide like it's album time? Like when does that happen?
Mm-hmm.
It's sort of like we get off the road and we just look ahead and we're like, I think this is going to be the time period in which we want to record an album, and we just make sure that beforehand we like are ready to do so. I mean, you have to also convince your label with demos to show that you have stuff that you're going to go record. So we just make sure we have like a good batch of song ideas to show we're probably going to approach the majority of these songs. And we knew we had a ton of existing ideas and demos that we had that we liked a lot.
But do you do demos on your own, or are you always working as a unit?
Normally as a unit. Normally as a unit.
Yeah. I think every demo sees the unit in some way. You know what I mean? It's like
Right.
it'll start with one of us, and then we come together and we have our ideas, right?
Yeah, Cole has the most proper setup. He has the most demo room.
Yeah, proper is a
proper.
stretch.
Yeah, he works at Abbey Road. You know. And then I usually just have my voice memos and like make ideas. And my old laptop computer, I make some stuff too. But Cole is the main one that we go to and try to make the demos.
And Dylan, you're just right. You're, sorry. We can't, I'm so sorry about the call.
I'm good. I'm good.
What were you saying?
And you just go to the studio and work under pressure.
Correct.
Yeah, I just wait. I wait till the last second.
We're prepared, and he's
Yeah.
just
I mean,
running around. I'm joking.
I feel like the lyrics and everything, that's the hardest part.
I mean, it is.
That's
yeah.
the hardest part, because that's the part
Yep.
where you're actually like music and instrumental, whatever, like the music part of it can certainly make you feel something and evoke whatever. But the lyrics is where you actually say what you're trying to say. So I I think, yes, you work well under pressure. And it's just like, for this record specifically, I was just impressed with how much, like the amount of volume of words that you guys put together. It's like, it's pretty like, it's a massive undertaking. I think that's like an underrated aspect of being in a band or writing songs, is like having to, it's not a chore, but like you have to say a lot of words. Like the word count is so high on,
Yeah.
or it can be.
Yeah, I definitely think we're a band that the music and melodies are way easier and lyrics are a little more tricky. And maybe there's some artists out there like Bob Dylan or something that lyrics are easier and music, I don't know. But like we definitely work better with music. But
So you're writing to something that's like already like you have music. You're not coming to them going, I have this like lyric idea.
No, it's like I have to write a line to this melody that goes, it's like
The mumbo jumbo.
yeah, fit it in kind of thing.
Yeah.
That was an actual melody from the album. But yeah, it's like every demo will start with kind of just like a gibberish line like that, and or I'll say a line that sticks out to me, and then I'll go, oh, I want to base something around that line because that's a good line, or that word works there, or that rhyme scheme works, and then that's what makes it hard, because then you're like, you get married to how it sounds. So you really try to fit in words to like how that sounds to you, and you have to let go sometimes of maybe it could be ooh instead of a, or you know what I mean, or like
Yeah,
you know?
which sounds weird. It sounds wrong sometimes because you get used to how the gibberish vowel sounds are,
Yeah, and that's why like a lot of the time our demos and our ideas won't get made for a long time because we can't quite bring it home yet with like words or whatever it might be. But a lot of these, like a lot of the songs that ended up on this record, or at least ones that we recorded, are ones that have existed for a while, that we finally were able to like bring home and make it work.
Do you look back at those songs that are finally finished and then realize what you were actually writing about, or do you know in the process the story you're telling? And because regardless if that's the intention or not, like there's a story in every song.
There is, yeah.
There's always an intention once I approach lyrics, like it's gonna be about this, but sometimes like that one line I said in that gibberish in the demo is what creates what the song will be about, if that makes sense. Like I'll be like, oh, that line's interesting. That makes sense to me in this way. I'll write about this, but I always want to make sure it comes from an honest place though. So I always make sure it means something to me, but yeah.
Was there a song on this album that was the trickiest to write or just like stumped you guys and you just couldn't figure it out?
That's a great question.
We've had the song Bad Dream. We've had versions of that song for a long time, like maybe 5 years now. That song we've like approached for at different time periods. It was originally going to be a single, and then it was like maybe going to. There was so many different. We even tried it on our last album, and it just. I think we kept the way it started. The way we started writing it was sort of like 90s boy band ish, and then like we were trying to fight that like impulse, and then we realized that like this song is a pop song. Like let's just treat it as such, and so we finally like. We tried a lot of different routes, and we ended up at this route. Kind of, it's most similar to what it started out as, and that's just what it was always made to be, really. But I'd say that one took has maybe taken the longest time. But although it's been fully written for a while, though, it wasn't the writing; it was it was what it needed to be sonically, and like what its identity is, really.
What's the biggest difference to what could have been on the last album to what is on the album today?
I mean, the one on the last record, I still think is a really cool idea. Mm-hmm. I think like us and Ariel, who produced our second record, Ariel Rekshine, we for some reason decided to go like a Black Sabbath kind of way about it, which is really cool, and like it certainly would have been something different for us. But I think it was just a bit too far outside the wheelhouse of what Wallows is, right?
Yeah, it's funny. There was probably 1,000 drum fills in Ariel's version, and there's like one drum fill in this one.
Yeah, we were like, just
do the beat, Cole. Like the other one was it was like crazy. And then we tried another version for this album that was like, in my mind, it was like Tranquility Base Arctic Monkeys mixed with AM Arctic Monkeys was like the other version of Bad Dream that we...
Oh, there's two versions on this album.
There's two versions on this album too we made. It's like really riffy and huge and whatever, and that version might see the light of day at some point. But Bad Dream actually was one that was tough to crack the code.
Yeah, we even re-recorded it, and the re-recording is what's on the album.
Yeah,
That's
we
funny.
might re-record it for every album in the future. See if we can.
Isn't there something to that? Like a sign of a good song is a song that can really be really the lyrics can just be applied to so many different styles. And like,
they say that about like campfire songs.
Yeah,
like if you can subtract it to acoustic and melody, then that's a good song. And I guess that there is something to that. I do think there is something to that. And then I think there's also something not to that. For people that just make like some crazy instrumentals, that's beautiful, of course, whatever. Like I've ever heard like Mozart singing by I'm just kidding. No, I'm joking. Honestly, those melodies would be beautiful though by campfire.
They would be.
They are beautiful. Yeah. What am I saying? Anyway, Cole.
you're making Dan laugh. Dan hasn't laughed in a while.
That's good.
I'm happy, Dan. I'm happy to make you laugh.
I like it. I'm enjoying it.
Dan's very rarely sitting there happy. This is a big day.
Oh, that's a good time.
It's just like a lot of rambling. It's just I'm enjoying it. What's coming out.
A lot of
The happiest guy I've ever seen.
This guy's happy.
Totally random, but can you tell me, is there any intention behind the spacing and model?
Ooh.
No one's asked us this yet.
No one has asked.
I've seen a lot of theories. There's a lot of like fan theories that like mean something, and I've been trying to crack the code.
Yeah, Modiel.
Should we just Modiel? Maybe we let them keep guessing.
I mean, I'm not even sure I know the reason.
I'm not even sure I do either.
There's no reason. I think like
the ultimate puzzle.
I think the honest answer to that is it was like this sort of loose concept of the album art that we're doing with Aiden Zamiri, who like took all the photos for our artwork, was like things that are imperfect or things that are like almost perfect but have a slight little like tragedy to make it so bad kind of thing. It's like sort of just random. It's not really how that looks on we ended up making, but that was like sort of what we were talking about. And I don't know, it was just like we had these ideas of maybe like intentional misprints of the vinyls, of like photos accidentally lingering onto the back photo lingering onto the front lingering onto the back.
That's cool.
And like things like that. We didn't fully do that, but like it was sort of like the Wallows model thing is just kind of like just fucked up spacing, really, just to to add to like the imperfection of it. Really, that's kind of the real only purpose.
Yeah.
But does that mission start at the beginning of this process or present itself in the middle of it, right? Like this idea that like you're going to present and portray these almost perfect situations and really try to show the beauty in imperfection.
That started literally bottom of the ninth. Like that was the last thing. Get ready for this one, Dan. I'm just gonna. This was bottom of the ninth. Yeah, no, we basically had other album titles that literally we thought the album was gonna be called until the last second, and then I think Dylan, right before we even got like ideas for album covers, just said, well, why don't we call it Model? And he had this reason for it, and we applied a meaning to it behind like all the songs we had and like what we were trying to, because there was a version of the album that was like 18 songs at one point, so we were like, we can't do that, you know. We tried, but we were like, no. And then I think once we landed on Model, kind of found these meanings behind it, it was really easy to talk with Aiden about how to collab for the album cover and like the meaning behind it, because we actually had scheduled a meeting with Aiden or like a talk with him before we even landed on Model. So that would have been a totally different album concept and creative direction if we gave him another title, which was maybe going to be like, let's just say Anytime Always. People know that was a working title, like it's a title track on the album. We didn't really want that, but we were happy, like quote unquote, calling it Anytime Always. But that would have changed Aiden's whole direction and our direction. So I think Model was just a last second thing that finally clicked on what this album can mean. And to be honest, when you asked earlier, what do you want to take away from this album? I think what we're saying right now is like, I want people to take away, this is like a model of all the shite that we did.
Yes.
Cole? Kidding.
What?
No, I'm just kidding. No. Anyway, yes.
And I think it's interesting because there is a deeper meaning and there seems to be a deeper mission, regardless of like when it presented itself. But it is something that like people should know, and like it is a relevant conversation of, you know, there is a natural pursuit for perfection, and I think that leads people down really unhealthy rabbit holes that can like really fuck up their life and fog up their vision and distract them from their own potential.
Yeah. I could have had Model answers today, but that was farthest from that.
I'm glad you.
This is the most unmodeled interview of my life.
It's better this way.
Yeah, dude, it's fine. It's special. It's perfection. No, you're by the way, in being exactly who you are, that is perfect, right?
Yeah.
That is the truth.
You guys too.
You're perfect, bro.
Thank you. You guys are perfect as well.
What was the process of taking from like 20 something songs down to the 18 song version, now down to 12?
That's a great question. Dylan, I'm looking at you.
I mean, it was the longest process we've had narrowing down a track list. We've never really had this much material. We never had this difficult of a time because the first For Nothing Happens, our first album, it's an 11-song album. We recorded 15 songs.
Yep.
And it was pretty easy to narrow down. We had a real vision for that, like how it was going to start and end and all the things. And then our second album, Tell Me That It's Over, we only had 10 songs finished. Obviously, those are the 10. And like a flow is like very easy for us to make. So like it was very obvious. Track list was very quick. It was like, this is obviously what it needs to be. There's no other flow this could be. For this, it was like we could literally have like 15 different versions of this album that all make sense in themselves and like what it could be. And the original approach that we had to this album was to make like, we didn't want to repeat an amount of tracks that we've done before. We knew it wouldn't be 11 or 10. So like 12 songs, no skips, quick, easy, light listen, most listenable Wallows album yet. Super like hopefully like addicting, like that kind of thing. That was like the original approach. Cause Some of That It's Over is sort of like these 10 projects or something, it felt like, and it was very like challenging at times and, whatever. Like I love that album. It was definitely like a different album from this. And but then when we recorded all these songs, we were falling in love with more songs. We were like, well, there's no way it could be like in our minds, we're like, well, there's no way it could be any less than at least 14 songs because we were like, there's so many good ones. But
said no band ever.
Yeah. But then but that's you get so attached to these things and you start to be like, how could we lose this one? Mm-hmm. And then we were like, well, do we commit and just go like, I mean, our fans would love it. Should we just go opus, like, you know, the Clash's third album's London Calling, which is 18 songs.
19. Yeah.
You know, just go that approach. And, you know, people are putting out 20-song albums all the time now. Like, maybe we just make a statement, say that we can too. And that's a statement. Like, that's a statement in itself. And I'm really happy we didn't do that. I think,
John.
yeah. Well, there's that. We were like, oh, it's probably going to be like 14 to 16. That's what we were like. That's what we thought it was officially going to be. And then John was like, we showed him a track list idea and he was like, it's way too many fucking songs, man. John's our producer, John Conkinson. And we were like, and as soon as he said it, I think we all looked around the room. We're like, yeah, we know. Like, we know it's a lot. And we are still introducing ourselves to the world. And we still want anyone that's even not like a diehard Wallows fan to just put it on and let it play, have it grip them and not let them go at all. And I think we ended up like, so when we knew we wanted to narrow it down to 12, that's when it really, we had so many different like album flow files, like so many different versions. And we kept going back and forth and like, okay, could you actually swap this one back and forth in album version 17? And like Cole would make a file and send it to us and all this stuff. And it was kind of a fun process to hear all these different versions of the album.
Yeah.
But like,
That was cool.
I think we landed on, I actually believe this is the best version of this album that we landed on that it could be. Like flow-wise, top to bottom, it's like that to me. It makes so much sense. It's perfect in my eyes. Like that's what it needed to be. Yeah, perfect. But yeah, it was. We've never had that hard of a process before, but it was. In the end, it was clear as day. The answer, I think. And then there's like songs that we left off that I think are some of our best songs and will be some of our fans' favorite songs of ours. So we'll make sure they hear them. But they didn't need to be on this album, and I think they'll make sense when they're heard in other contexts. You know, but.
Do you care about this music being the best music you've ever made? Like, or what's like the sole driving force behind it all?
I mean, yeah, I think we do care a lot about just outdoing ourselves. And like, I know we talked earlier about like when do you decide to make an album or like at what point, or you were saying or something. I think it is like we are the kind of people where we finished this record and then like sent the files off to go be made into CDs or whatever. And it's like, it's that moment that we're like, oh, but LP4 is going to be like we just immediately started talking about the next thing. And it's not that like we're tired of these. It's not that we don't like these. Like we're still, you know, obviously going to go through the motions of supporting this record, playing it, blah, blah, blah. But like as soon as we finish a project, it's like clean slate. Like what do we do now? Like, and the driving force, like what's the engine? I don't exactly know. Like what's the engine to that process? I don't know, but it's just like, it's exciting to try and like do something new and do something different. And I think that we like have fun sort of with the surprise of it all, I think is just what it is.
Yeah, I think to us it's our best, but it's like, you know, 30% of our fans might disagree. You know, like it's all up to, you know, it might be like someone who didn't like our first album's favorite and someone who it's subjective, objective.
I guess subjective. Thank you.
I can't. Yeah. I'm like on it. I don't want to say it.
Let me cook.
But I think, I think. As long as we feel like to me, if I feel like I could listen to this as an individual and as just a consumer on my own, that's where I feel like we've made something good for me. And I'm like, I feel like I'd listen to this more than our other albums probably. So that's good for me. Like as long as I feel like I would actually listen to it, and I do. So I'm like, I think.
Yeah, it's hard to have that perspective of like existing outside of yourself when you make music, because like you said, you get so attached to these things, and like because like for us, we're wearing these. There is no divide between like us and then like what the songs are in a way. Like, because it's
one and the same.
We're one and the same.
Totally,
so
it's
so
total extension.
Wallows is
like
we is Wallows.
Each album is like a limb. Yeah, I totally get it.
So I just totally forgot what I was saying.
Are the stakes different today than they've ever been? I mean, they have to be higher, right? Forum, MSG, the rooms are getting bigger.
Stakes are higher for sure.
No more Warped Tour.
Stakes are definitely more well done, for sure.
That's the thing. Yeah, it's like we knew the venues are going to be playing on this tour, recording the album, so we had it at the back of our minds. It's like, well, this is not the time to do something super left field because we know what we have to do on this album cycle, right? And so that's why I do feel like we've like landed on the perfect thing for this moment, because we knew we were going to have this moment. It's like, what's the album that feels like it belongs to fill the space of these rooms and represent this moment that we're about to have, that's inevitable, that we're like going to do. What can really back that and hopefully just boost it even more? And that's what we really tried to approach with this. And I hope that our fans hear it that way. I hope people listen to it. And yeah, I do really believe in this album. But like Cole said, it's like, what is that drives that immediate, well, this next? Because now I'm already past thinking about this album. It's like, I want this album to do what it needs to do, and I really hope people love it, but I'm already thinking about album 4. I'm thinking about the songs that come after the album, before album 4. I'm thinking about everything. And maybe it's because maybe that's driven by an underlying insecurity of, or just like, or trying to feel secure in like a plan, like a backup plan or a plan B or a thing. And it's always like, I'm never expecting something to go off for Wallows. We're never expecting like, this is going to be big. We've never once been like, this is a hit. We've never once been like that.
But that's why, like, I think it's different for you guys, though. You're selling out huge rooms. I think there's some bands, and I wanted to talk about this. I'm glad you're bringing it up, because you're right. Like, you haven't had a hit yet. But, like, what the fuck is a hit today? Also, do you need a hit to sell rooms? Clearly not.
I don't think so.
You're selling the biggest rooms on planet Earth the last time I checked. And third, I think there's a desire for music that is, you can have a mid-tempo record and have it be fucking amazing and vibe out with your friends and escape to music in a room that's real and live and in person. And like, it doesn't need to fit on, by the way, I don't even know, we were on the radio in the biggest capacity for fucking too long. We've helped too many people get hits. We got walls dedicated to it. The science behind it is so ridiculous that it's mostly math-based and like, very much relationship oriented, very little, yes, about culture shaping, but like it's different. So my question is, what the fuck merits a hit today, right? Like, if you're gonna make the music with the intention of like being a TikTok hit, whatever. If you're gonna make the intention with it being on today's top hits, whatever. But like, you can make music that's incredible, that hits all the right playlists, that still garners millions upon millions of streams, that still drives people to see you guys live. That is a hit. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, that is. Yeah. And by the way, alternative radio in America is dead. So like, if you're gonna go after alternative radio, good fucking luck. Good luck. I'll tell all the people I know everybody at your regular label. It's dead. But why is it dead? Because they killed it themselves. 2 or 3 people at the top of that thing run it all, and they murdered it. They destroyed it. So that's like, what the fuck's a hit? That's my question. What is a hit?
Wow.
A hit nowadays is what resonates with the kids.
Fuck yeah.
It's just like it has been proven that there is no prediction for what a hit is, because the kids are deciding what they like, and they're the ones who are making videos of it on TikTok, and TikTok runs hits. TikTok makes the music industry now at this point. Really.
It is the tastemaker.
It is the tastemaker.
Because
that's
the people
why,
are the tastemaker.
And Are You Bored Yet? That's our version, our closest version of a hit that we have, and it's because of TikTok.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And also our fans, of course. It was already like our most popular before TikTok was even a thing. But that just like, the kids on TikTok found it, and it went bonkers.
Right. I also do think, yeah, like when I see like our fan base and the people who go to our shows, and like, I love speaking to them. I love when I meet them in person. Like, I just think, and we never tried to have that kind of dedicated fan base. We are so lucky to have people like that. I think that's what makes, quote unquote, hits, or people liking your music, is like, you resonate with someone. Like, a lot of my favorite bands of all time, it's like I resonate with them as people as well as their music. Like, I think the greatest example is the Beatles. Like, I love the Beatles as like just people and music, and like Dylan, we've had discussions of like, oh, Yellow Submarine probably wouldn't be a great song from another person or something. But I'm like, I just like it because it's the Beatles. Like I love, like, I don't know. I think there's something about if people can like somehow relate to you in a way, that's also a beautiful thing, and not just like an idea of your music is what makes you a hit. Like it's the artist as well. And I think that's the same with like, you know, like One Direction or something. Like there's just something about them that makes it. There's a human element to it, and somehow people see us that way, and that's cool.
Somehow, I mean, somehow, you're definitely
exactly right.
You know,
like, you're exactly right. Like I think it's, to me, we never approach music with the intention of making a hit, and I think like some artists, you know, it's going to be a hit. Like Dua Lipa puts out a song, well, it's going to be a hit because it's going to be immediately at the top of today's top hits and New Music Friday, and that's going to be a big hit because you are you, and that's what it is, right? And that's cool. Awesome. You get to that point, that's just how it is. But for other like artists who are like similar size to us or something, and you like see this like this energy of like, this is a hit, I made this a hit, all this stuff, and it just makes me go, I'm like, it just kind of irks me. I'm like, and to each their own, but like, we've never had that mindset, and it's worked out for us so far. And to me, it's like the version of a hit of an artist, like a hit artist is like you're saying, someone who's selling out arenas and don't have a hit, like a hit, what we know as a hit.
You have music that matters to the community that you've cultivated, who have built a relationship with you guys through the music you release and every other avenue you give them access to. If the music matters to them, then that qualifies as a hit.
Well, at the end of the day, like the kids that are the tastemakers on TikTok are smart, and they're getting smarter, and they can smell bullshit from a mile away. And I think we talk about that, like the kids are smart and they get it. And I think when you can break that wall and have that respect of a fan base, and it really comes down to artistry and that fan relationship and like getting that fan base, they're the ones who are always going to show up at your shows, and they're the ones who are going to sell out your shows. Like, you know, there's so many artists who have like billions and billions of streams who can't sell out like a club venue, right? Totally. But then you have like band like 1975 with like a few 100 million streams on a song, and like not really a huge unbelievable hit, like, and they're selling out multiple arenas. Like, I'm just giving random examples, but you look at, or like Phoebe Bridgers, right? She hasn't had a hit.
Music matters.
She'll sell out any venue she wants to put on sale. It's just how it goes.
I think I think it always has had to do with identity, but I think it more so does now, like what young people want to align themselves with, and like who they like. I feel like those popular artists like that kind of are like the example of like what they want to be, what they want to associate with, like what they're sort of like everything about. Like if I was in high school right now and like experiencing all this stuff online with TikTok and Instagram and all this stuff being fed to me, like I feel like I would be maybe not desperate, but I would be like craving a sense of identity, like more than like when I was in high school. Because when I was in high school, it was like the music that we discovered and listened to was like, I sought it out myself because that was like the only way. There wasn't this like online tornado of like promotion and concerts and FOMO and all this like crazy stuff. So I feel like if you can cut through that and just be like unforgivingly yourself, like say someone like Phoebe Bridgers, I think is a really good example of that. Like she cultivates the fan base because she is like what people want to identify with.
You can listen to Wallows music, by the way. It's all waiting for you on Amazon Music. There's going to be a link on screen, code below, or link below. Everything you're saying is like very spot on. Like it is, people want to identify with somebody, feel understood by somebody. I mean, there's a bunch of different reasons why somebody gravitates towards music. And it doesn't take every radio station playing your song every hour to have a record that matters today. It's just a totally different world that we live in.
I think that people, maybe this is just partially my own personal lens because I'm tired of it in a way, but I feel like people and young people online who are sort of in the driver's seat of the culture or whatever, I feel like they're tired of having stuff just like jammed down their throats. Like I feel like the sort of like sense of discovery is gone in a way.
I agree.
And like as artists, I'm really tired of like, I mean, I like this conversation we're having. Like this is like actually where we get to speak our minds and say interesting things.
Like getting into this stuff, to be honest.
Yeah. But then like when we have to like, when we feel this pressure to jam things down people's throats and promote stuff, it's like not fun. And like, I feel like it's changed over the years because we were a band, I feel like kind of right before TikTok and
totally.
then during it. And then here we are now today. And like when we first were doing like press things or videos or what have you, like this idea of like doing liners and capturing content was all like very new. And we were like, yeah, this is cool. Like let's like film a video of us standing somewhere in some random in our house. And hey guys, it's Cole from Wallows, and it's like this super robotic thing. But then now that we've arrived at this place, like more so than ever, I'm like, we need to like break the fourth wall of it all, because this like phony marketing, phony promotion, it's just, I don't think it's working. I think it's turning people away is what I think.
It's a weird, sorry.
It's gotten to the point where it turns people away.
Yes.
I think for a while it was like general, like gen pop, like palatable, like that's what people thought it was, you know? And then it turns into this like real, like so formulaic, you know, to a point of like insane regurgitation.
Yes.
Yeah, and I feel like it's a tricky balance too, because you also feel like you have to keep reminding people of things, and you have to have long lead and like all these things. A lot of it's really helpful and it does work, but it's funny everyone is just in their own, because you get so wrapped up in the creation, of course, the creation of your music and your art, but like then the promotion of it, you get so wrapped up in like it's all you think about all the time, that I think it's really easy for artists to feel like that what they're doing is a bigger deal than it is. And I think, like, for example, it's like we're all in our little bubbles of like promotion for like these albums. Like there's an unbelievable amount of albums coming out this year, and an unbelievable amount of good albums and great albums that are coming out this year. But like, who are we to think that this album is like actually a big deal and important in the grand scheme of things, when like Beyonce, for example, put out an incredible album. I love that album, like a month and a half ago, 2 months ago, and like for 2 days I felt like a big deal, and I'm already moved on and forgotten, and there's another new big album coming out. So who are we to think that Model is gonna be like this, like wow, like no matter how much we're promoting it and doing all this stuff, it's like there's gonna be another album coming out that day and the week after that even our fans are listening to. So it's like you just have to focus on do the best you can do and make sure you're connecting with your fans and you're delivering like shows that they want to come see, and just and like just let it naturally happen. And I feel like also like you get in a bubble on tour as well, and you feel like your tour's on your brain, and it's like this tour is such a big deal, and then you see like there's so many artists touring at the same time that we don't even know about, and it's like it's so easy to get wrapped up in your own head about things. But it makes me kind of
it's true, but it's very doom and gloom.
Yeah,
you know? It's very accurate.
Just make sure you have fun and it's honest for you, and that's really all that matters. Like as long as you're having fun and it's honest.
I think the time you can you think it's a big deal and all these things. I think the most important thing that I always try to remind myself is I want to be older and look back on Wallows in our career, and that's when it feels like all the things that we like achieved or did is like it's boiled down into like what matters. Like you've mentioned before, like you do all these hoopla things, but at the end of the day, it's like you look back on Wallows, you're not going to remember when we said, "Hey, go listen to a Model" in front of like a TV. It's going to be the music and the album and what it means to you. And I think it's all just building up to hopefully one day reflecting on our music and being happy of what we put out. And it's not trying to, I don't know. That's just what
it's the same for the listeners, you know,
and hopefully the same for the listeners. Exactly.
Like they're not going to, it's like, it's just what, at the end of the day, what matters is 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 10 years from now, they're able to look back at that album and go, I love that album. And that meant something to me.
And that's albums that I love right now, like Blonde and all these things. It's like, I remember that album, you know, it's not about like the promotion of it. 'Cause Frank barely even kind of
he's still never promoted.
He never
that
promotes anything, and it means a lot, like that, you know. So
totally. And I feel like to me, it makes me like want to on the next album do sort of like an anti-rollout. You know what I mean? Just like opposite of everything.
It's weird. I mean, and sometimes it works, and then other times it famously doesn't work.
Of course,
exactly.
Yeah.
And it's twofold, right? Like the goal with every album, I don't make it, but I consume it heavily. I mean, give me something that I feel understood by, which is most likely going to be your reality. And then if you can make that song or that album, in the best case, an entire fucking album, be something that can stick with me forever, fuck yeah. But like, to be honest, like Cowboy Carter, amazing. I found myself going back to listen to songs from that album maybe 2 or 3 times. And maybe I'm in the minority on that one. I would hope so.
Because like Taylor Swift dropped the week after, and Dua Lipa just dropped.
Well, you
and we
move
got
on
Billie
to
drop. It's crazy.
Everybody's dropping
everything. So it's just every week there's something new for people to like talk about and care about.
But the truth is, like,
Kendrick's dropping, Drake's dropping.
Crazy. I don't know.
Are we getting into that?
No,
Is that discouraging as an artist though, knowing you put 2 years of work into an album and somebody gives it 30 minutes and they're like, all right, I'm on to the next?
only if the goal was for it to be something crazy. It doesn't discourage me if it's just it's just like we made an album that we love and we're lucky that people want to listen to it. But if for some reason that happened or not, that wasn't the goal to be something that like it has to be the biggest thing for 3 years straight. It's like, because you don't really expect that, you know, like because there are so many people making music. So, but it is interesting. Like if the whole goal was to just like craft this thing that's going to be the most gigantic thing in the world, it'd be very disappointing if it got one stream and then that was it. But
One single stream.
But Zizek's Road. I'm kidding. No. Do you guys know that movie Zizek's Road? They got like $24 at the box office. Like Kapanaga movie, classic. But I'm sure that movie has a cult following now, and now it's you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Zizek's Road.
It was always about the movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
I gotta say though, you fit a vibe though. The music that you guys create fits a vibe. So I found myself going back to listening to you guys for like certain energy. Does that make sense?
That's good.
That's good.
I mean, that's kind of like that's what I do
right.
want this album to convey. Like that's why it goes down to like I just hope this album is easy to put back on.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'm not gonna
that's-
name names.
You're doing it. You're doing
Yeah.
it.
I'm not gonna name names, but I only listen to like 5 artists in my whole life. Like
do I.
it sounds funny, but I only listen to the same things. Like I do listen to new stuff as well, but they know me. Like I'm the least broad horizons. They're like, this new album dropped. I'm like, what? Like, I have no idea what you're talking about. So like, I just listen to stuff that I resonate with, and that's just how I listen to music. But then you guys discover stuff all the time and show me. I mean, I obviously listen to more than 5 artists, but
I have a really like I stay up to date. I have a really nerdy like system of how I keep track of albums. That
he
are
has like a
coming
whole
out.
list of albums that are dropping.
Anytime I see an album
So
and its release
funny.
date, I put it in order and I have the release date of when it's coming out. So I make
crazy.
sure I at least check it out. Like I'm checking out all the albums that I'm aware of.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Color coded.
Wait,
Color coded
do you
as
have
well.
like a notes?
Well, it's in my iPhone notes, and I like colored like the way I like keep track of how I liked it or not is then I'll write out the track list while I'm checking it out, and I'll put a color dot next to a song. Red means don't like this, not for me. Yellow is like it's not bad, but it's just not for me. Like it's cool, fine, whatever. Purple is like this is at least really good or great, love it, you know. And so I have red, yellow, purple, and so my whole album list, it's like, and then that determines what the whole color dot rating for the album is. So it's like this list.
Yeah, and it's like drop
got-
order. I think like it's in like chronological.
Yeah, in chronological order.
Yeah.
So it's like red, yellow, yellow, purple, purple, red. You know, and I keep track of. I have it in my notes. It's
How many
yeah.
albums?
There's a lot this year because I can look back at like one from 2023. I've done it for a few years, and it's like 2024 is crazy. There's so many albums coming out this year.
Okay. So what else are you keeping track of this meticulously?
Wouldn't you like to know?
I mean, most likely
Honestly,
everything.
like nothing. It's sort of I just like to be aware of the music that's being put out and being aware of what I like and what I don't. And
Do you color code anything else in life?
no, it's just that. And interesting. And I feel like it's it's kind of if that list were to like leak or something, I'd probably be like canceled for not liking some people's albums, but like by fan bases on the internet. But I think
Why do I want you to have like a blog?
yeah,
Yeah,
like
you could have a secret blog.
maybe I could just become a YouTuber now or something.
Yeah.
If model fails. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why I went on that tangent. I've just never been able to reveal it before.
Are you learning from the music you're listening to? Like, what are you listening for? I mean, obviously, we listen to music for a bunch of different reasons, but
Yeah. You know, I feel like I enjoy the process of discovering things and like music that I like. But a lot of times I feel like the sort of like indicator for if I really like something or not nowadays, especially with our sort of like contemporaries, is if it makes me like a little bit jealous. Like if I hear something really cool and I'm like, oh, like, no, but in a good way, you know? Because I'm like, it's something is cool and it makes me wish that, like, not that I'd thought of this because, you know, that's not what it is exactly, but it's like, oh man, like this is really good. And it like, you know what I mean?
Do you remember the last time that happened to you, or something that sticks out, like a certain song that you got that feeling?
Is it one of the songs you sent to us recently or no? Like one of those, like you sent us a song like with a rooster on the cover or something?
Yeah,
like
see,
that?
I guess it's jealousy is too strong of a word. And I feel like the word jealousy carries like negative baggage. So it's,
what's
but,
worse, jealousy or envy?
ooh, I don't know actually. Envy?
Probably envy.
Worse? I don't know.
I don't know.
But anyways, yeah, that's sort of like, do you know the feeling I'm talking
Yeah,
about?
no, definitely. It's also just like this inspire like what it's just really just looking for what inspires me to like just know what's going on and to know what's possible and what people are capable of in our field and outside of our field, and
It's really
making sure
cool.
we're not just copying someone else, you know.
What's funny is I went through a phase where my credit card got hacked and I had to cancel my credit card, and that was connected to my Apple Music. 'Cause I use Apple Music actually, I don't Spotify, but so I canceled the card, and then it got to the point where it was like, and I got a new card, but it was like Apple Music's going to go away in like a month if you don't whatever. I was like, okay. I basically went to the point where Apple Music was off my phone, and I had no Spotify, no music streaming at all.
Perfect time for
And
Amazon
I was
Music.
like, I know, and I was like, I just want to see what happens if I don't listen to music. I'm just like not gonna listen to music. So I went so long without any streaming, anything, nothing. I mean, they know it was a long time without streaming. They're like, do you still have Apple Music? No. They're like, do you still have streaming? I was like, no, I don't. They're like, why don't you just put your new credit card in? I was like, I know, I should, but I just didn't. And I remember
Not listening to anything. He's like, no.
I'm like, I don't listen to anything. And then I have a vinyl player, so if I did listen to something, it'd be on vinyl, but that's kind of rare because I'm like, maybe not home. So I didn't listen to music for a long time, and I was listening to music so damn much, right, when I had music. But then I finally listened to 10 Years Gone by Led Zeppelin randomly, and I hadn't listened to like music seriously in a long time. I put my earphones in because I got Apple Music, listened to 10 Years Gone by Led Zeppelin, and I cried. And I was like, holy shit.
Wow.
I was like, this is like this music. Like I'm feeling it in a way I haven't since I was a kid.
you reset your music
I
tolerance.
did, and I feel like it's because I wasn't over. Like it's like sometimes when you hear your favorite song, it kind
Whoa.
of the magic gets lost. But
Yeah,
not listening to
whoa.
music for so long, I actually cried. I haven't cried to music since I was probably
Dude,
never.
The tea break. You took a tea break.
I took a wait. What is that? What?
A tolerance break.
Oh, that's funny, man. Yeah, I took a tea break, and I just remember listening to that song, and I was like, oh my god, and it like re-sparked some love for music, and now I kind of just not re-sparked a love for music, but it like re-sparked my tears for music, and
Reignited.
reignited.
So
my tears.
imagine no music was released by anyone for 6 months. How people would feel, how the kids would feel when music came back. Like, I wonder if it'd be better than ever.
I don't know.
Total
I don't
palate
know.
cleanse.
It's like,
Do
is
not
there
know.
pure oversaturation, or is music really still connecting with the kids like it should? Like, I think also for me, that's the
Probably,
thing.
yeah.
It's like for me, staying up to date and finding stuff that I love and picking up the stuff that I'm like, there's really, really inspiring and really great, progressive things happening in music. It sort of reinvigorates my love for making music, because I'm like, it is possible to make something great and that it moves the needle, even if not many people are listening to it. And there is great stuff happening. There are like iconic songwriters right now.
Oh, yeah.
This is happening because it's so easy to look at all this like shameless, just like gross oversaturation promotion of artists and music, and like the way the whole system works with streaming and playlists. And it's so easy to be discouraging and be like, what is music? Making music anymore and consuming music? What the fuck is this? And it can be really discouraging. But the more like great albums that I find and I keep track of and listen to that I love, I'm like, oh, okay, it's still happening. It's still exciting. It's still inspiring. And there's amazing artists.
yeah.
Like, I think we have a Bob Dylan of our generation right now with like Adrienne Lenker, and Big Thief and her solo stuff. Like, we have that happening, and it's so easy for people to not notice it now like it used to
'cause
happen,
there's-
because social media, streaming, all this stuff. And it's great. It's all great because more artists are getting discovered than ever, and that's amazing. But then it's also harder for people to like see what we have as well, because there is great stuff happening, and it's easy to just kind of fall to the wayside. But
It'll reveal itself in like 50 years, like what
Exactly.
music really stands, and that's great.
crazy.
exactly.
Do you guys look back at songs like "Are You Bored Yet" and wonder or know why that performed so well?
Not really, because we didn't even know it'd be the lead single for the album when we wrote it. But
I remember Craig at Atlantic was like, "That's the lead single for the album." I was like, "You're crazy. Why? I don't get it." I like, it's not. For a second, it
There was
wasn't
a
going to be on
moment
the
I was
album.
like,
yeah.
We like didn't even. It truly did not compute with us as our hit at all, and it just is. It is our hit that we have, and it's like it's so funny how that happens. But that's why I was like, I don't know anything. I just knew that shows I don't know anything. We just got to make music and just hope for the best and just be honest with ourselves.
the worst songs I've ever written personally are the ones when I tried to write like a hit song. Like I tried to be like, what is that? And I'd be like, gosh, this is not good.
Oh God.
Like
And
it's
we're
just like that's just not where the inspiration is for me. People can work that way, of course, and that's awesome. Like Max Martin of the world, he puts on that hit hat and it's amazing, and I love his hits. The hit hat,
The hit hat.
he owns it, and it's amazing, and it's like there's some of the greatest songs ever written. And if there's a song that I write that seems like it could be like a whatever, my intention wasn't to make that, and I don't know.
And
It's just
another like
funny.
interesting example is like there's a song on this album on Model called "She's an Actress" that is my favorite on the album, and I think it's just maybe it's my favorite because it feels like the least similar to other things. Like I don't really know what to compare it to, and that's what inspires me and stuff that we make. But like that song, there's no real structure to the song. There's no chorus. There's never a line repeated twice ever. It's just words, no chorus. And I was like, damn, I really think this is the coolest and best song that we have here. Like, no offense to the other songs, but when we were making it, I was like, this is fucking cool. I was like, I just know the label or people or whatever, we're gonna have to like fight. I'm gonna have to fight for this song or something because there's no chorus and da 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 da.
And did you?
People hear it and they're like, this is one of the standouts. This is sleeper hit. All this stuff. I was like, oh, like and it was so like surprising to me. And it's you just really don't know what's gonna resonate with people. But like, I don't know. It's just that's why I really love that song because I was like, this song's really odd and everyone's really responding to it. And it just shows that like, it's just because it's cool songs are going to resonate with people. There's no formula for a hit. There's no formula for success. It just is like, as long as it's cool and honest and it's like honest inspiration coming from you, that's what prevails. You know?
What's the biggest difference between this album and Tell Me That It's Over?
I think this is a lot, it's a lot more precise. It's a lot intricate, a lot more intricate and a lot cleaner. Like I think that Tell Me That It's Over is very like loose, like kind of fuzzy, loud, a lot of feedback, a lot of like just, you know, it's very sharp and like, and that was intentional, right? Like that was like that we went for that. But like with this, it's, you could probably turn it up a little easier, I'd say, because it's a little cleaner, but the parts are a lot more precise. There's not big like open jangling chords and feedback and all this stuff all the time. It's sort of like every guitar part is, you know, the chord is a higher inversion on the neck, or like there's not really barred chords happening. It's like, let's do a cool, smart riff instead. That's sort of like, you know, we really wanted this to just be more, a little smarter sounding, but secretly, because like this song, like Show Me Where My Days Went, that's the name of the song. It's like, probably you could say is tied for like the poppiest song on the album, but it's also like the most intricate musically. Like the guitar parts are all really, like to me, the most intricate parts we have, and like the music of it is, it's always changing, and like, but you don't, it's written like a pop song, so you can't tell. And we were just learning some of the songs live recently for like some things we have coming up, and that one was the hardest one to put together. But that's like, you listen to it and that's like the poppiest one. But it's like, we really just tried to make an effort to like make everything like just be smarter about the parts and just have it all be really precise and sharp, and like it's sharp in like a performance way. Which goes back to what we were saying earlier. Like we did the bare minimum of tracks. I don't know if you would say that to me, that's the biggest difference. Like I think there's, you know, there's a lot of songs that have to do with relationships still. So like thematically, it's like, I'm not saying it's like a whole other thing, you know, in terms of like, there's still like love, there's love songs on this, and there's, you know, there's sad breakup songs, and, you know, there's whatever there is. But I think like, to me, it's a really different album though. And I think it's like, in the performances and sonically, really. Did
y'all make this album for you or for the people listening to it?
I think for us and our fans is what my answer would be, and that's like the only thing. And I guess maybe with the idea of like more people being introduced to us and like, you know, hearing something about us that we haven't brought to the table. But I think at the end of the day, it's always just for you. It's like for us. Like I think there's like a David Bowie thing where it's like you make music for yourself, and then that should hopefully resonate with other people because it means something to you, and you're a human and they're humans. And so yeah, I think you make it for yourself, but also it's fun. Okay, so I was reading. There's this magazine called Pleaser Magazine. It's these fans of music, and they actually got their name from our band. Like Pleaser's our first single, and the founder named the magazine off of us. And there's a big article. Like I have the magazine. I was reading through it. And I was just reading all these things about like why she named it Pleaser and Wallows, and like there was an article like in the beginning there was Wallows, and she wrote this whole thing about like why she named the magazine this. And I was just sitting there last night going, this is amazing how it's just beautiful that, and it made me be like, this is why I make music. It's for this to happen, like this connection that people have to what we make, and it's shout out Pleaser Magazine, you rule. And we actually did a cover shoot with them, so there's going to be a magazine with us, which is amazing. But that's why I make music. That and also just my love of it and the people that inspire me.
Yeah, and like since we did know the venues we were gonna play and the tour, like we definitely wanted this album to be like an album that is made to be played live, and like that is for our fans and us. Like it's really just for like, let's enjoy these songs together. Like let's have a great night when we're playing these songs with you and you're there, and like let's make a night that you'll always remember. That's kind of like really what we want to do with this tour, because like our fans really still reminisce on our last tour, and they loved it, and they all talk about it, and you know, on Twitter every night and all this stuff. And like, I just want to make sure that we're like giving even more special nights to them. And it really is just for like, it's for both. It is for the fans and us, but we hope other people like listen to it, like Braeden said, but it's not really for anyone else other than the people who already love us and us. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, y'all did it.
There we go.
How do you guys approach arena shows? That's big.
Good question,
We're going
man.
to start rehearsing.
We got to learn.
Gotta learn the songs. No, I mean, we have a new stage design, which we've been collabing with Rob. And I mean, gosh, approach arena shows. I
Yeah.
think we want it to feel not like an arena show. We want it to feel intimate. We want people to feel like they're actually connecting with us still, and we're not just like little ants on the stage of life.
Yeah, I think people love being able to connect with us at our shows. Like, there's a lot of our fans who are scared of us playing bigger rooms, and I think we just want to like prove that the more space we have and the more budget we have and things like that, that it's only gonna let us achieve our big kind of grand ideas and visions more, and like only deliver even better shows, more unforgettable nights. And we want to still like do things to keep it like as close and intimate with the fans as possible.
Yeah, we've never done it before.
Yeah.
We've never played. I mean, I feel like oftentimes bands will go on tours opening for other bands, and then like along the way, somehow you end up playing like some sort of massive show. But the only band we've ever opened for in any capacity is Vampire Weekend. And we did like some underplay shows, and then we did some stuff in Europe. So yes, they're obviously a really big band, but when we played in London, I think technically that's the biggest venue we've ever played. Is that venue in London with Vampire Weekend, right? Which I think it's like a 10,000 capacity. It's just like a big open, it's called Alexandra Palace, just like a big open flat thing.
And now they're showing up to see you.
Yeah, now we're playing.
We're playing that room.
We are playing that room, which is hilarious. But yeah, we haven't played in an arena, so I don't really know. I have no idea what to expect.
It's weird. I was at the Madonna show at Forum recently, and I was like, you get like anxiety in those moments. I was like, wait, this is where we're playing. I also think I had a bit of a shroom gummy. I was like,
That's the tea.
I was like,
We got the tea.
I was in there. I was like, oh fuck. And I was like, and you get all these ideas, and it's nerve wracking, but it's exciting. I think like, but the thing is, it's really expensive to tour, man. It's expensive to put on a big show, and I think it's like we've even had like big expectations and still had to reel them back, because it's like we have to be able to afford the tour as well, and be able to like walk away with hopefully some money as well, because like that's really the only way artists make money now. If you're not like one of the big ones, right? You have to it's tour and merch,
recoupment land for eternity.
Yeah, literally
forever.
So it's like, I think we got to also make sure like give a show that feels bigger and better than ever. Make it feel worthwhile, worth whatever ticket price the fan paid. Make it like just feel like we belong in those rooms, but then also be able to like sustain livings and whatnot, and that's sort of what we got to do. But I do think that the show is like, it's not going to be Madonna level, right? It's not going to be like the craziest arena show you've ever seen.
1.9.
Yeah. But it's going to be
Shout out
big.
Danny.
But it's going to be big for. It's going to feel really big for Wallows and for our fans that have already been there for us. I think it's going to be a very worthwhile show of the spaces that they're in. But like, we've had to like manage our expectations a bit, because you're like, oh, that huge idea is like millions and millions and millions of dollars to buy the things to do it. I'm like, holy shit!
It's been really eye opening putting some of this stuff together with our team, because obviously we work with great people and they kind of are facilitating all these things, but yeah, it's crazy the amount of dollars flying around for those like festivals and big shows that you just like so casually see happening. It's like,
No, it's
it
crazy.
takes a village to do it. It's really insane.
Everything costs way more than you think it's going to cost by like 20 to 50%.
Yes.
Could be 100%.
Literally.
It's nuts.
It's crazy.
But it's
everything
okay.
in the world right
Yeah.
now, really.
Yeah.
How was Madonna on Shroom Gummies?
Insane. Her show's insane.
She's amazing.
And Rob, who designs our show, designs her show.
Oh.
And she
He's
said
fresh out of Rio.
Yeah, he's fresh out of Rio.
Yeah, 1.6 million people.
Yeah.
That's a big
1.6.
crowd.
Insane.
Crazy. She's a star, you know. But you're also like, there's certain moments of the show. You're like, I was looking around, like there's weird, there's like interlude moments, and I look around, I'm like, does anyone know what's going on at this part of the show? Like, because she'll go into an outfit change, and there's this like crazy thing happening. You're like, this is crazy. It's kind of a crazy show, but it's a spectacle. If you can go, you must see it, because I've never seen a show like it. It's pretty amazing.
That's so funny.
It's pretty amazing. I was having an amazing time. It was awesome.
How do you guys like view each other? Are you coworkers? Are you friends?
Whoa,
are you
question.
are you peers?
Lovers.
Lovers.
All of
In
the
a way.
above. It's all. I mean, it's all the above.
It's friends and bandmates, technically.
Yeah.
You know
we're
what
just-
I mean?
Business partners?
We're on business calls every day for different
Yeah.
reasons, but we're still just like true homies at the end of the day. You know, we are just friends,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
and we tour with our other best friends. You know, it's really, we have a really great relationship with touring, because we're just with our best friends on the road, and we just have a great time. Which we're very lucky for. Like, I honestly couldn't imagine being a solo artist and like touring. I feel like that's where I feel like I'd start to understand the like understandable issues that like certain artists face being on tour. But, like, we're just very lucky to just have it feels like you're just vacationing with your friends, and then we just play these awesome shows every night, and our fans are amazing, and it's just really rewarding at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And but yeah, we're just friends.
Yeah.
We have a lot of business calls.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know, because we all met when we were so young. It's like, you know, what, 2/3 of my life has been like us being in a band or something
Yeah.
at this point. It's
you
like
were, you were friends at one point, right? It started as
we
friends.
started as friends. Yeah,
Oh,
it's just, I feel like it's, I don't know what it is. It's just what it is.
Yeah, I've known Braeden since I was 9. I mean, we met through acting. We were both child actors, and our moms met online on this like forum for parents who have child actors. And
Forum. Just kidding.
yeah, it all. But and we like we're just friends for a bit. These little kids, and being like, we loved classic rock because our dads both played in bands growing up and all this stuff, and we were like, we're gonna be in a band one day.
Yeah.
And all these ideas for a band, and so yeah, that was just pure kid friendship for a while of like, you know, this pipe dream of being in like a rock and roll band. And then we like did this program where you like sign up and kids play like basically a recital of like 3 covers that you learn. That's where we met Cole.
Gig Masters.
Gig Masters.
Gig
Gig
Masters was my
Masters.
dad's.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. Gig Masters. Let's go. Joined the band when we met Cole,
Yeah.
and then Gig Masters was my dad's thing that we played some gigs at. So fun.
Route
I love it.
66.
Gig Masters, man.
We've been playing together for 15 years now. We've been playing together, the 3 of us.
Yeah.
15 years.
See,
So we
that's
did meet
amazing.
Cole under the pretense of like making music with him or playing music.
He was just
with him.
immediately
Yeah.
business partner.
Yeah, so
Just
Cole's
kidding.
always just been a business partner. But, no.
Definitely not.
No, we've been in a band together for like 15 years.
It's
And just been
crazy.
like so many memories together. Like,
Yeah, the first song we played together was original was "Sweet Talkin' Love." It's the first original song.
Yeah.
that we-
Do-do-do,
Down.
do-do-do,
Sounds like "Do I Want to Know."
Yeah.
Do-do-do. Before "Do I Want to Know," by the way. I'm gonna sue our 2 monkeys. They must have heard our EP.
we've been working on the contract for a while.
Yeah,
That's,
it's so funny.
no, but we also, the first song we ever actually played was Purple Haze by Jimi Hendrix.
That's right.
Yeah.
Simple Haze.
The first 3 song set was Purple Haze, Under the Bridge, and Jailbreak.
Yeah, that's
Damn.
right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Classics. Big ones.
Those are hits.
Yeah, yeah.
Hit songs.
This is wild. This is a real
Yeah.
band. Like I like an actual, genuine, authentic origin story.
It's authentic for sure.
It's real.
Yeah, it's real. And it's like, we've done it for so long, and
Special.
it feels like the things that we're doing now are like kind of long time coming. These noises in my
Yeah.
Does anyone pick up on that?
sorry.
You got to change Zone's batteries.
Yeah, but
Very real.
I don't know, it feels like reward, like it feels like deserved. You know, we've done it for a long time and we never gave up, and it feels like that's what's weird, because we would have these like dreams of playing venues like the Forum or something, and then we're doing it, and he's got to make sure you soak those moments in, because it's easy to be like, well, yeah, we're playing the Forum, and you're like, wait a second, that's insane. Like if you think about it, at least for us, like when we were just kids doing this, to have this dream of doing something like that someday, like, that's crazy. And it's like you just got to try to hold on to that naivety and that like that like childhood love and dreams, and like, you know, just that, I don't know, that kind of amateur quality. You want to still hold on to that and not feel numb to anything, and really just soak in these moments, because it could always be gone at any point. So it's just like one of those things. But you know, we're really just going to try to soak up this year and next year, and just really enjoy this whole album process, and keep doing our best, keep doing our thing.
It's going to be a good one.
Thanks,
I can feel it.
Thanks, Zach.
What I've heard from the album, I want to listen to the whole thing. It's fucking great. So
Thank you.
you.
That means a lot.
I've listened to the 3 songs that are out over and over and over again. So yeah,
It's
no,
more,
I've been cruising in my new car to it. It's good.
What car do you got? Or
I
maybe you
don't-
shouldn't say.
No, people are gonna judge me.
Yeah, don't say.
Story for another.
Yeah, another time. The Chevy Bulls.
I'm guessing Cybertruck, but we're
That's what I'm guessing.
You got the company right.
yeah, right.
I'm sweating.
Do you even think about acting anymore? You mentioned that you guys met in like acting class or wherever you met.
It was an online chat forum for stage parents,
Yeah,
actually.
sorry. Yeah, don't get that confused.
You weren't in there?
Yeah, do you even think about acting anymore?
No, I think, I mean,
I kind of want you to act again in a weird way.
you
I think
do?
it'd be fun. I want to see Dylan act again.
Oh yeah, you want to go on set? Enjoy the free
do.
food?
I think it'd be fun to see you in something soon.
Yeah, I think about it. For sure. I think like, it's really interesting. We've both done it for so long, like a really long time. And I was very fortunate to find success in it. Like we've always worked a ton, and then I was on, 13 Reasons Why, and it was really popular and definitely reached a peak in like so far in what I'd had in acting. But it also started to feel like a bit of a job. And I was in a very like fortunate position where like it was always fun for me, always really inspiring. But then I was like, as soon as it was starting to feel like just a job, I was like, well, I feel like Wallows and music is like this passion that we have always had as a group to like really take all the way as far as we can. And I was like, I feel like I'm in a position now where I can just kind of like do that for a while. And I feel like get this the farthest it can be. And the only way that's going to happen is if I put my 100% time and energy into it and like take it very seriously and show the world that we all take this very seriously. This is a real band. We're going to do real band things, and watch this, and that was like definitely like the intent. And so I've just sort of like, for me, I'm just following what feels natural and inspiring at the time. And I'm very obviously incredibly privileged and lucky to be in a position where it's like, this starts to feel like a job. So I want to do this now. And like, this will be my job. Like it's insane, but it's working out that way. And it's like, I'm just following what feels inspiring, and it's working out for us, and we're having an amazing time. So it's like, I do think about it as a concept one day, but I'm like, got to do this first. It's like, I tell my manager and like agents, all this stuff. It's like, yeah, guys, like, 2026, like whatever. It's like, it's just kind of one of those things. Or whatever. Actually, I was actually gonna try to do. I was gonna like, in my mind, I was gonna do something last year in this time frame from like this month to this month. I'll have a time where I'm gonna act in something, and that time frame was the actor strike, the SAG strike, and it just didn't work out. So I really was thinking about it. But even in not doing it then, I feel like I'm actually starting to have more inspiration for it. Like I'm starting to feel like I have something to give artistically and creatively in other fields than just music right now. I do feel like I have something to give, and that's probably acting, but like I feel like there's something, I feel like I'm starting to feel inspiration for that again. So yeah, like at some point when we've like fulfilled our Wallows duties and we're all like ready to when we're ready to like take a break as a band or just take a second, that's when I feel like I'll have the perfect inspiration to do something.
It's funny. I've been thinking about my acting career.
I'm on your IMDb right now. Pretty impressive.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
I was just thinking though. I was thinking recently. I was like, I've always been someone who like, tries to act or like in like dramas or something. But I feel like I want to do comedy.
Dude, I mean,
I think you
come
would
on,
kill
dude.
it.
Like,
I feel like I don't need to be on the drama train. It's like, let's go comedy if I start acting again. So yes, no kidding. I don't know. We'll see.
we've killed enough people in the crime shows. At
Dude,
this
yeah,
point, I think.
we're chilling. But no, yeah, I don't know if I'll act anytime soon, but we'll see. I mean, if anything, I want to join the PGA Tour.
Dude, this guy's no joke at golfing.
There's a
Like,
lot of money
seriously.
to be made.
Yeah.
No, I can't. Scotty Scheffler will win every time. But no, I'm kidding. I love golf.
So he'll golf, I'll act. What do you think you'll
Cole,
do in Wallows time off later?
I'm gonna chill. I'll probably just I just play tennis.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
I play
Cole's-
tennis against randos in LA.
You might know him as his name, Carlos Alcaraz.
It's weird. I have another friend who does that too.
Oh,
I can
really?
connect you with them if you need like
be
someone to
great.
play with. Yeah,
That would be great. It's fun. Like
it's weird.
yeah, I've like
Y'all are
rediscovered.
weird.
It's weird because like when I was a kid, I played sports, as a lot of people do, and I think such an underrated aspect of life as an adult is having sport, like competing in some sense, or having a coach.
Interesting.
Like we take lessons, me and my buddy Milo take lessons with this dude named Ben Brunco. Shout out to Ben. And it's so rewarding when like you work on something so caveman brain as like hitting a tennis ball, and then you get better at it and they're like, oh, good job. You're like, yes. It's like it's such an underrated like I don't know. I feel like when I was a kid, if I understood the importance of like coaches and teachers better, like I would have been like more young Sheldon or something, you know. I don't know.
What's the goal with tennis now? Like, what are you looking to do?
You got a match today, right, Cole?
I have a match after this
Yes.
with a random person, and
Okay.
it's gonna be fun.
But you
It's,
have a coach like just to play with strangers, or are you gonna like compete?
it's literally the entirety of my tennis experience is just having fun, and it's like golden retriever. Like I run around and chase a tennis ball around, and I just love it, and it's so fun.
Do you use an app to connect with people to play with? Or?
So there's UTR, which is like there's USTA, which is like pretty formal, and there's rankings, and UTR is a little more kind of like do it yourself. You're assigned a ranking based on how you play, and then like I'm literally in a league where I'm paired with strangers in LA who are like a similar enough level, and then like on your own time you connect and like schedule a match somewhere.
Oh, that's cool.
And then you play the match, and then you say thank you for the match, and then you go home.
Wow. And then you never talk to him again.
Yeah. What's up?
You never talk to him again.
Never. I mean,
You never
maybe.
talk.
I'm friendly. I don't take it that seriously. I think some people act like it's fucking Wimbledon when you show up to the court. You know, they've got like their racket bag. I'm showing up with like my rackets in my hand and like a shitty backpack. You know, but yeah, it's so much fun. It's just
But you're
it's a
gonna find
new thing.
yourself at like one of those huge tennis things and be like, "Why is my shitty ass here right now?"
Yeah,
Just like
yeah,
great at tennis.
Grand
somehow.
Slam.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're like, what?
That would be my wildest dream come true.
Love this for you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
same.
I enjoy it.
Yeah.
Also, you can listen to Wallows music. It's on Amazon Music. Link below. Code on screen. Thoughts?
My last question is, what happened in Canada?
What happened in
I
Canada?
just
what
assume
happened
there's
in
a story
Canada?
around Canada.
That's great.
Well, do you want to explain the story of like why that song was even originally started to be called Canada or whatever?
We could, yeah.
Okay.
Do you want me to say it?
It's on later. I'm just kidding. No, there was like that song on the album is called Canada. That a lot of our fans have noticed, obviously, and we like had done some funny teasers around the title of Canada, kind of for no reason, but just because. But we made it. We were writing it. We were in a writing session one day with this guy Nate Mercereau, who's like a guy we love to make music with, like sort of like a generational talent. That guy is like a magician. It's insane. But he. Generational talent, is that like a good way to describe it? I feel like lifetime, like once in a lifetime talent. The guy's insane. But anyway, we had this idea going, and then they titled it something. But at the time, we were listening to these old radio liners that we were doing for like, alternative radio stations. And there's one like we were listening to some funny ones of Braeden, like using these ones for like some Canadian radio station, and every single one he has all these takes. Everyone starts like, "Hey Canada!" Like every time the way he was saying it was really funny. Yeah. And so we just left the studio that day. Or his place with it just being called Canada, and then like that idea was so strong and we knew we were going to make it, and we were like, we can't imagine it being called anything else. Like it just felt like for some reason that it has a feeling of being called Canada. No idea why, it just does. But then also it's that song is about meeting and falling in love with my current girlfriend, and she's from Canada. So for me it was like, oh, it has a meaning. Like obviously that's why this is called Canada. It was going to be called Canada, but that's now that is why it's called Canada. So there's a kind of a double meaning. But that song's really cool. That's one of our favorites for sure. I think it's a cool one.
Yeah.
Nate was on your apartment. Is he on the entire album or just a few songs?
Just a
songs.
few.
Yeah. We love writing with him though. Like we just he brings something good out of us. Like it's hard to like go into a writing session with someone and like leave feeling like you just challenge yourself, you feel inspired or like whatever. Sometimes they can feel kind of soul sucking, but with him, it's like, I don't know what he brings out of us, but like we just get really good ideas in there.
Yeah, I think like if I were to like analyze, like cook something up about it for a second, like I think he's really good at just like letting it happen. Where like we often will have just like super like weird, dumb, like I wouldn't say bad, but just like the most like random. We pick up an instrument, it's like the most random nonsense. He's really good at sort of just like allowing you to be as nonsensical as you want and then kind of like reducing it down to like something. And you're like, oh, actually we made something really cool. We made 6 cool ideas today somehow. And I don't even know like what, like it's very like meditative when we get to work with him. You know?
That's a great way to describe it.
It is. Also, in a weird way, I wouldn't want to be a comedy actor. I really wouldn't. Actually, I was thinking about that. I actually wouldn't want to be. I don't want to be. I was thinking about all the movies. And I was like, you know what? I don't want. No, let's leave it to like Will Ferrell.
Yeah.
Anyway, Nate Mosher's great guy. I really wouldn't though.
It's a perfect way to round out that answer about Nate, I think, honestly.
Model is going to be on Amazon Music May 24th. Link below to listen to all Wallows music. Plus, it's there. Amazon Music. Anything else?
I think we covered a lot here.
Yeah.
This was great, guys.
Yeah.
This was so much fun.
I really enjoyed every second. Please come back for every album.
Yeah, let's
Let's
go.
do it. I'd love to
Yeah.
see where our minds are at then.
I would love to see.
What's going on?
I would love to see.
Yeah, maybe you take on comedy. Who knows?
Yeah.
No.
Just go take every day as it comes. I really appreciate you guys very much for giving us your time and energy. And I like.
No, just the water.
I've never met the two of you in person, right? But I've I've seen you at many social gatherings.
So recently I was like, we got to do another interview. Let's do another. And then here we are.
Where it's
It's
happening.
great to see you guys in person. It's amazing.
This is really nice.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, guys. We had a great time.
You guys are really special, and your music's fucking amazing. So just know that.
Really
Thank you,
appreciate
Zach.
it.
You
Listen,
appreciate that.
model. Listen. It's there for you.
Thank you all.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you,
See you next
Wallows.
time. See you next time.
Thank you guys so much.